Comment, 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 like, and share, and go on, take for the team. Comment, like, and share, and go on, take for the team. Comment, like, and share, and don't forget to comment, like, and share. Comment, like, and share. Comment, like, and share. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. Comment, like, and share. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya, and I got on here to say a few things about, as the Legions know him as Lips, and I know him as Bradley. Now, I grew up with Bradley here in our hometown, and Bradley was very funny. He liked to be the leader, he liked to do, if we was going to go out, if we was going to go do anything, Bradley would hit us all up and let us know, hey, let's go here, let's go there, let's do this. But, after we got out of school and a few years went by, Bradley was gone. And so me and a friend of mine went to the casino one night. And lo and behold, there was Bradley working at the casino. And I was so glad to see him, And we had an awesome time talking, and just, going back and forth with each other. And so, time went on and a couple more years went by. And I love YouTube, and I love watching B Love's mukbangs. And so I was always looking at her mukbangs, and a couple more people on there. And so one day while I was on there, I was scrolling and I saw this guy. And I was like, I was looking at him and I was listening to his voice and I was like, I know this guy. And so I took the video and showed it to my daughter and she was like, yeah. And she said, I watch his mukbang too. I said, no, I know him. And so, a little bit went on, I think it was like a week or two went on, and I told my daughter, I said, that is Bradley. And she was like, you know him? And I was like, yes, that's him. So I got in contact with his brother, TJ, and I was like, you need to tell Bradley, call me. So Bradley called me, and I was like, Bradley, I said, you doing soul food? And he was like, yeah. I was like, man, it's going to blow up. You know what I'm saying? I said, because, soul food is a thing here in Mississippi, We love chitlins and pig feet, and I love it all. And so, time went on, and he just, he had moved to Memphis because to me, Bradley has always been, his mindset has always been too big for Mississippi. So he moved to Tennessee. And, everything went good with his mukbang. He just blew up. Like, it went so fast. Everything just went so fast. And so next thing you know, he texted me, and he was like, I'm moving to Georgia. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I'm moving to Georgia. And I was like, well, congratulations, And he was so happy. Like, he got to do so much stuff. He got to, he did so much. He's done more than what we could have even dreamed of doing. Bradley has done it. He lived his life to the fullest, and I loved him so much. And I'm going to miss him so much because it's not just a friendship, but it's the conversations, not about just YouTube or mukbangs, but it was just about life, because we always had this thing where we could talk about everything, and he was just that kind of person that you could talk to about anything and you didn't have to worry about hearing it from anybody else, so I'm going to miss that, and I talked to his sister Keisha. And, I'm so proud of her and how strong she is and her brother, because I know this is devastating for them, but I know God does not make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And Bradley is truly going to be missed. And like I told her, Bradley was famous. He has a lot of people out there that love him and that looked up to him, that talked to him, that he encouraged, So I just want y'all to know that, Bradley was not just a Lips YouTuber. He was the real one. He was a real friend. And, there was nothing that he wouldn't talk to you about, that he would, he was always an encourager and an uplifter. He always encouraged me, Tanya, you can do it, because I started my channel. He said, you can do it. I'm going to help you. He was always right there. So, I encourage you all to go and look at some of his videos and listen to some of the things he says, because he can, anything that you listen to on there, you're going to be encouraged. So I asked y'all to go and look at his YouTube videos, TikTok videos. If you need encouraging, go there and listen to him. And I promise you, when you get through listening, you will be uplifted. Bradley's legacy will forever live on. Big Ben is in the building. He just, his channel was just amazing. Everything that he did on his channel spoke volumes. And I'm truly going to miss him. I'm going to miss him so much. I'm going to miss him, and I know you guys are too. But thank you all for listening to me, and you all have a great day.